Hi, everybody. I've had an absolute blast recording your championship intros on audio and also on video. And for those of you that didn't know, the videos can be done special exactly the way you like them because these are green screens and we can do them with a scene behind me. Do you want a fighting scene? Do you want a beach scene? Do you want a race car scene? Any scene you want, we can give it to you. It's your theme and my pleasure. Just write our offices and we will answer you with the exact fee involved and how it'll get done. So here we are, and now it's time, and it's your choice. Cheers!
From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping, to the Great Wall of China and back to the streets of Las Vegas where the UFC is coming. We are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show where we talk about what you think about but may be afraid to voice. Do not worry, we will voice it for you. It's all about voicing it in 2024, folks. We talk about everything: sex, drugs, rock and roll, UFC, entertainment, TV, movies, you name it. We talk about it. And I'm here with my co-host, TJ DeSantis. TJ, weeks gone by. We're in the new year. How's it started out? Strong, positive, all good?
My TV broke, so I don't know. Hopefully it's
go.
a sign of things to come, but I'm pretty good. I'm well in one piece.
Is that similar to breaking a mirror and all of a sudden you have 7 years of bad luck?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No,
Wow.
I think when it break the TV, you got like 7 years of just viewing the worst TV possible.
Probably
I think
so.
that's
Ray,
what happened.
Ray, shut the heck up. I haven't even introduced you yet. Okay, here we go. And now, the trainer to the stars, the trainer to the UFC champions, the trainer of it all, a man who definitely has something to say, and when he says, we listen. And here we are again with our friend of the show, Ray Longo. Ray, how are you?
Man, this has been too long. Too long. I haven't seen you guys.
I know.
You know, I have to touch base to stay grounded with you guys.
We
You know
feel
what,
the
Ray?
same.
We're going to keep you grounded today. We're going to fill you in on what's going on in the world. You're too busy training and probably never even look at CNN or read the newspaper, but we'll fill you in on a few things.
Yeah.
First off, Ray, Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you guys too.
My best to you and your family, all that goes with it.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of stuff happening here. I got to say one thing. If we're going to talk on UFC, we're going to go talk on UFC while you're on here for our big 30 minutes with you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on in the UFC. We've got the show coming up, the very first show this weekend, which I will not be announcing, the one at the Apex.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know, Ray, my February, March schedule is wow. We'll go over
Yeah,
that.
because I start going crazy in February again, so I'm trying to enjoy this time.
You know, just to give you a little example, folks out there, I mean, Ray and I, we're road warriors, okay? We're always on the road. We do what we do. January, I've got Toronto. That's next week. It's a big show. I got to fly in on Thursday. I've got appearances for Puncher's Chance and, you know, do the show and then get back here on Sunday. But come February, it's like UFC Apex. We got the big show here in Anaheim, Mexico City the next week. And you know what's the killer, Ray? Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
I get back from Mexico City. I got to leave for Saudi Arabia on like Tuesday or Wednesday. It's 30 hours of flight.
Yeah.
Much less the layovers in the airports. And then get back on Monday. And then we got the big show in Miami, you know, the very next week with Sean O'Malley, followed by Atlantic City. Leading into April, I've got 3 shows in March, 3 shows in February. Don't cry for me, Argentina. It's what I do. I love what I do, but it's definitely going to be the hardest part. I always say, Ray, the hardest part is the travel. It's the hardest part of the job.
That's what they pay you for, guys, honestly. The travel.
Then I'm asking for a raise.
Yeah.
No,
But
I get paid very well.
Maybe we'll hook up in Jersey also.
Yeah, I'm supposed to do the Atlantic City show.
Yeah. If you do that, we'll hook up.
Yeah, for sure. Let's pick a really good Italian restaurant, of which we have our pick in Atlantic City, and let's definitely go pig out. Have a good time.
I might have I guess if I got to work on something, I might have a special place that I'm sure you've never been at. You wouldn't even know it existed in Atlantic City. It's like the Rayos of Jersey.
Oh, good. I love it. Well, one thing,
Yeah,
listen,
great food.
when you and I went to that one place where we were in New
Oh
York,
yeah,
Long
very
Island,
good.
wherever it was,
Yep.
that was old school. Frank Sinatra,
Yeah.
Dean Martin in the corner, and
Yeah.
Sam Gavano and Sammy Bull or whatever over in the other corner. You know, it was,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you're funny.
yeah, definitely. I love those kind of ambiance and flavors aside from the amazing food and gaining 4 or 5 pounds with you, Ray, because you can eat. I got to keep up with you.
Yeah, what a great night. I really had a blast that night. It's
Yeah.
so rare that we get to even hang out and just chill for a little bit, but because that show was so early in the afternoon, it just worked out perfect.
No, it was perfect all the way. So the show this Saturday is going to be on ESPN Plus. A lot of good, solid names, upcoming fighters. Very exciting. Joe Martinez will have the helm at the mic, always doing an excellent job. And then I'll be back the following week for the Toronto show, which is huge. Let's face it, this show, I think everybody's very excited about this show for one reason. You know, there's a lot of buildup on Strickland and Duplessis. Okay. Obviously, they sold the fight by throwing a few punches at each other, you know, at the last pay-per-view. Rehearsed or not, I don't think it was rehearsed at all. Strickland's a very interesting cat, as you and I both know. Duplessis is like 180 degrees to the right of the kind of personality that Strickland is.
Yeah.
All right, let's lay it out, Ray. I mean, Sean is great at taking fighters all the way into deep waters, not getting hit very often. Definitely a brawler. A guy spars more than almost any fighter that I know. Not that that's the right thing to do, right? How do you feel about that? Sparring all the time that hard?
The way, look, you got to remember the way he spars. Look, I'm kind of old school, so I'm gonna say I like it. I like it a lot. But you know, with today's environment, with the CT and stuff, it depends. But he's not like he's play sparring, but he's in control of the sparring. I don't think there's a lot of like big banging going on. So I think, because I have guys in the gym similar to that, if you can get the right people, yeah, you could spar like that. And I think it works for him. I really, he's a guy that if you got tired with and you can't take him down, the fight's over.
Yeah.
Like he will finish the fight. You know what I mean? Right. So I got to see him with a wrestling heavy opponent that wants to wrestle and is desperate for the takedown to see what happens. But I mean, there's the thing with Duplessis is, remember he was cardio looked like it was an issue. Then he said he had his septum fixed so he could breathe better. But if he gets tired with Strickland will finish that fight.
I agree.
If it isn't broke, don't fix it, right, Ray?
That's my motto. A lot of people didn't agree with me, but we'll fix it when we have to fix it. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, they get to a certain point and they start searching for other stuff, or somebody tells them this, you got your head. Dude, it's awful. As a coach, I got to tell you, it's awful because you get these guys to a certain point, and then for some reason, God forbid you lose a fight, TJ, these fucking buffoons come flying in. They might not even know anything. It's just, if I could tell you stories of the shit I had to deal with, it's stupid. And that's me having to deal with it too. And I think I got somewhat of a reputation, but nobody cares. Everybody's just, wants to get their opinion in there and be heard. And it never works out.
Yeah, exactly. When I said I agree with Sean, I wasn't saying that Sean's going to win the fight because I never declare who's going to win a fight. I basically made the best man or the best woman win, which is the way I like to do it, because I like to go in and not be partial, not be anything, and give everybody my full 100% of emotion, passion, throw power, the whole 9 yards to bring them to that next level. But I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about seeing Raquel Pennington coming back against Mayra Bueno Silva. It's going to be a good fight. And Neil Magny, who probably is going down like one of the people that just fights 16 times a year or something like that. Guy's always stepping in the octagon. He's got Mike Malott, which should be a good thing too. And Chris Curtis, I find Chris Curtis to be a very interesting fighter against Marc-Andre Barriault. We'll see how that rolls. So there's a lot of good, solid fights on this card. Brad Katona coming on in again. He's always interesting to watch.
Yep.
Always exciting. So I'm very excited about the Toronto card. And we all know that Canadian fans are rabid. They love their UFC. So that's going to be very exciting, appearing for them.
I witnessed that firsthand. They're very passionate.
I always like to say, Ray, I've never met a rude Canadian. I've just met a lot of inebriated ones,
I think Ray has met some rude Canadians when he's on the opposite corner of George St. Pierre.
Let me tell you something. I sat in a restaurant once. They ignored me when I was in Montreal. No, I had the jacket on, like the school jacket. I think I left. That's how bad TJ. It was. What people, we never really talk about this much because we tell all the other stories, from the fights. But Matt was getting so many death threats that we had to put him at a hotel. Nobody knew where he was.
That's crazy.
Nobody knew. I forgot about that. Somebody brought it up the other day because nobody could go see him. we put them off limits. That's how bad it was. It was a hostile
I went
crowd.
out with Matt that night after he knocked out George.
Now that was in
Did you?
Texas. We're talking about Montreal.
Oh, Montreal. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Remember how crazy you called that in Montreal, right?
Of course.
Yeah, remember how
That was
crazy
back when I was
crowd.
there was nobody else announcing fights. I was the only one who ever announced
Yeah,
any.
Remember how crazy that crowd was, Bruce? Come on, you couldn't hear a rocket if it went off in there. I mean, that's how loud it was.
Yeah.
What's funny about that is George is not that way, right? Like you have all these Canadian fans that hate Matt Serra. I don't think that George hated Matt Serra. You know what I mean? It's crazy that they would sort of take that approach when the guy that they're backing isn't anywhere near that level.
Well, you got to remember, TJ, back then, though, Matt was making a lot of the French jokes and stuff to sell the fight. Look,
Sure.
I'm going to say this, Bruce, right after the fight, Dana walks in there, he comes up, he goes, man, did he sell that fight? He sold the shit out of that fight. You know what I mean? So, and then Matt grabbed the phone and apologized, and everybody loved him. But he's loved in Toronto for sure. Montreal's a little different. But and George and him are great friends. Yeah, they're not George is like, it's an interesting point. That's really not who George is.
No.
But
No, but let me tell you something.
explain that to 23,000 maniacs
Right.
at the Bell Center.
Exactly. Let me tell you something about George, and I think we all realize that. George, to me, is the epitome of a role model of a UFC fighter, role model of an MMA champion, the ultimate gentleman, nice, fierce fighter.
He's the Derek Jeter of MMA.
Yeah, I guess that's actually a good comparison. I mean, I see George now, and he looks great. He stays in shape. We've stayed friends forever. He's always trying to get me to go out with him after a show, and I got to fulfill that wish soon. I can't say enough about George St. Pierre. He's totally the epitome of everything I love.
Great, literally a great guy. 100% great guy.
No question. Listen, Aljo's fight's coming up at UFC 300. What's your other big fights coming up for your fighters before then?
Before Aljo, I think Weidman and Dennis Bazookia are on the Atlantic City card.
Okay.
Pompos's fight just got canceled, so he's going to go. He might be on the Atlantic City card. He was supposed to be a couple of weeks before that.
Right.
And I think that's it. I got a lot of local fights starting in February. But and I got Marab. Oh man, I'm lost. Marab in Anaheim. Sorry about that. Big fight with Cejudo. Man, I'm losing my mind. That's in February 17th, I think. You'll be at that one too, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, in which one?
Anaheim. It's right down the road.
No, it's down the street. They're going to bring in Martinez. It's like they don't want to pay me to drive down there. It's too expensive.
You're not doing that? Wait, are you joking?
Yeah, I'm joking, of course.
Okay, it's a pay-per-view, Buff. I was
Shit.
like, what?
I was going to say, man, we got another chance we could get together. We'll grab Anna.
Man, if I got anytime, it's just people got to understand, I appreciate all the offers and the invitations that come in. But, for Anik, for me, I mean, the show prep, show day, the time that we're busy, all that, I would love to go enjoy all these invitations I get. But, I got to prepare. Plus, I want to be ready for the show,
Yep. No, you guys are true professionals. Yeah.
Absolutely. But Anaheim should be good. Even though I live nearby, I'm an hour away. I'm going to take a hotel room down there, and I'll probably stay over Saturday night.
Oh, cool, man. That's awesome.
I'm 10 minutes away. 10 minutes from my front door.
There you go.
Oh, are you real? From Anaheim?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to show up then, TJ.
I will be doing extra rounds, I'm sure.
Oh, you will? Cool. Awesome, man. All right. I'm excited.
Hey, let me tell you, these tickets, UFC is getting some nice prices for these tickets. Toronto's $1,000 US. Miami's $1,500. What's coming up here? Vegas not Vegas, rather. Anaheim. Anaheim is $1,000 a ticket. Toronto is $1,500. And Miami, $1,750 a ticket.
Yeah. They're rabid for UFC in Miami. Last year being out there, man, they loved it.
Yeah, they loved it. There's no question. Yeah. Hey, Ray, okay, I accidentally tweeted out the fact that Conor and Chandler were going to fight at UFC Fight Week, and I didn't realize it said middleweight. I thought it was UFC had made the post. Somebody else made the post with a false poster. There's a lot of talk coming up, but I think it does come down to the fact they're going to fight at UFC Fight Week at UFC 300.
Yeah, but Connor's the one that threw out the middleweight and laughed, and a lot of people thought it was real. I mean, I could see Connor wanting to fight at middleweight. I don't see why Chandler would want to take that fight at middleweight.
No, whether he walks around at 185, 195 or not, I think Connor walks around about 200 sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Connor doesn't.
No, he looks like he looks like he's jacked up. That's the sad part of the story, man. I don't know. Nobody looks like that without using PEDs. It just sucks, Sucks for Chandler. And well, Chandler will take any fight, so it doesn't matter. But they kind of know that, so he could say 200 pounds. Chandler's going to do it.
I mean, I've heard people in the news, I don't want to mention names, say that, when Connor was recuperating, they had no problem if he was taking PEDs to recover quickly from that horrific injury that he had. I am not sitting here saying he took PEDs, so do not misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm only quoting what other people said. But didn't Connor just get tested recently and tested clean? Didn't that come out in the news?
I don't know what's going on nowadays with everything changing. Obviously, you saw there's a new company being brought in. I haven't stayed up on top of that stuff, Bruce. Like, honestly, for me, as long as you're not getting caught doing something wrong, I just don't really care. And Connor hasn't been caught doing anything wrong. So short of that, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You know what? The bottom line is we're all looking forward to fight night. Whatever happens on fight night happens. I personally agree. I do not see him fighting at 185. I see it at 170. Let's say to go at it at 170. Call it, Ray.
I got to go with Chandler on this one. I think he's been out for way too long. Who knows? Chandler could attack that leg right off the bat. That's going to be. You saw what happened with Weidman. That's just a shitty feeling. I got to go. I got to lean towards Chandler just based on activity. But now his activity is dormant because he's waiting so long. But I think everything favors Chandler to me.
TJ?
Stylistically, I think everything actually favors Connor. I think if Chandler would fight in a smart manner where he would take him down and try to bust him up, similar to like Chad Mendez did in the first round of their fight, I would lean towards Michael Chandler. But to me, Chandler's going to want to make it a fight, an exciting fight, one that the fans like. And if he does that, it favors Connor. The one thing I will say is Connor, his timing might be off. We don't really know what he's going to look like after being away for as long as he has been. Chandler has been active. You might lean towards Chandler that way. But if we get Connor at 100% and Chandler is a willing dance partner in a firefight, I like Conor McGregor.
No, listen, I agree with TJ as far as that, but I just don't. I think it's been too much time. I think there's a lot of pop that's off his punch when he moves up in weight. He's not like at 45 and 55. I think he hit really hard, but he really hasn't demonstrated that at the heavier weights. And I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he's got a lot against him, I think. Connor. I mean, the partying and all of that shit, it catches up with you, man. I want to believe that Chandler living a clean life like he does and working out. He's got a great camp, good corner with Henry Hoof, that he gets the job done.
We'll see. It's all about having that fighter spirit, warrior spirit, mental attitude, which Connor does have. Some people could say maybe he's getting soft the richer he gets or the more partying and everything else.
Yeah.
Let's say this, though. If Connor actually gets that fight north of 170 pounds, he's already won in so many ways. He's getting exactly what he wants. That fight has no business being contested over 170 pounds.
100%.
Connor wins no matter what. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Connor wins no matter what. As far as his brand, as far as his
he's already won. I mean, he's won.
He's
he's just
winning.
playing for shits and giggles at this point.
Yeah, I think so. He's just looking to see what he could get away with. He likes pressing buttons, and I think he almost likes grandstanding Dana. Dana can't control him, and I think he gets off on that.
Never has been able to, And then let's go into Saudi Arabia here a second, where Connor was there watching the Ngannou fight. Boxing match, sitting next to who's the soccer player he was sitting next
Ronaldo.
to? Yeah, and it was funny because he looked like he was talking Ronaldo's ear off during the show. Yeah. The facial expressions Ronaldo was making was cracking me up. But let's get back to Ngannou. I am so happy for Ngannou that he's been able to work it out. I know I said in the show a long time ago that he better fight because you can become irrelevant after a while, but he's become more relevant than ever. He's brought boxing to the eyes again, which is great for boxing, to the MMA fans. He's going to square off against Anthony Joshua in Riyadh, where we're doing the UFC on December 23rd. Now, the estimated purses, okay, they estimate that Ngannou made roughly, he turned down an $8 million plus deal from the UFC to go off on his journey. He supposedly made about $10 million for his fight with Tyson Fury back in October, okay, which was confirmed at a press conference. But again, we never know.
Right.
No.
It could be even 20 million by the time the pay-per-views come in. But I heard the pay-per-view for that show was very horrific. It was not very good at all. Whether that was because it was behind the DAZN paywall or whatever, I'm not sure. But coming up on this with Anthony Joshua, there's a lot of money to be made here. I think Ngannou is definitely going to come down. Supposedly Fury made 50 million for his fight with Ngannou, but now with Anthony Joshua, 20 million plus, I'm going to guess, for Ngannou. Fantastic. Love to see it. And I'll tell you one thing, the Saudis, whoever's running these organizations, when they had the Ngannou fight with Tyson Fury, there was a plethora of MMA personalities over there and boxing personalities.
Oh, yeah.
From Chuck
Crazy.
Liddell to Conor, you name it. Now, I know on the inside, I don't want to mention names, but there was $50,000 paydays handed out just to be there.
Yep.
Just to appear for that. I also know for a fact that some people walked away with a bag they were presented on the way home that had as much as a $60,000 Rolex and cash in it as a thank you for coming. I'm going to be shaking a lot of hands when I get to Saudi. I'll tell you that much.
Bruce.
I'd like to come back with one of those, as much as I love Rolexes. But Anthony Joshua Ngannou. Okay. What do you think, Ray? First off, I think Ngannou won the fight against Fury. That's my attitude. Very thin, but I think he won. So whatever, that was not the judgment. Josh was a different fighter than Fury. I think maybe it could be a little worse for Francis, potentially. But how do you see that fight?
Again, I'm really out of the loop a little bit with the boxing. But I think Francis gets it done. I think he's got confidence now after the Fury fight. He looks like, he enjoys the training with Tyson and everybody else he's going to. I think Francis gets it done, man. He's a big guy. Obviously, his power transferred over into boxing because he knocked down Fury. So I think Francis got a great. Yeah, I think he's, the heavyweights, man. Anything could happen. And Francis definitely has the power. So I'm going with Francis on this.
He's got the power. Yeah, he
got the power.
He's got the power. There's no question. No question. I got to say it again. I'm just so happy for him. He's such a gentle giant.
Yeah,
100%.
Nice, and you got to remember, even if he made less money, he's got his freedom. He could do what the fuck he wants to do. That's worth more than 20 million.
He sticks in the game, fight MMA, whatever, for another 2 or 3 years. He's a $100 to $200 million earner.
Yeah, think about it.
He's going to come back to the UFC. I firmly believe he'll come back to the UFC, and everybody does in the end.
In the end, I would love to see him, but it's and again, maybe the pay-per-view points, whatever. But he's going to have to be paid very, very, very handsome.
Oh yeah, that's the difference. They're going to have to open up their wallets to get him back in there. I mean, if he was playing hardball at the time he played hardball.
I hate to say it, guys, but was he really worth that money at that time? I don't know if Francis. I mean, he's definitely.
I agree. He was not worth. I mean, I hate saying he was not worth it.
I hear you, Buff.
No,
he
was not TJ, worth that payday then. He's worth it now. He wasn't worth it then.
And they could have built him up, TJ. They could have got behind him and built him up like King Kong if they wanted to. You know what I mean?
So sure, Ray.
I think they could. Look, they have the money to do it. I mean, that's the thing. Was he worth the money? Yeah, he was worth the money based on how much money they're making. Do you think they're losing money when Francis fights? They make a shitload of money when Francis fights.
Sure. So my thing is this: I think the UFC doesn't necessarily make stars. I think stars make themselves on the UFC platform, and the UFC can put as much money as they want to behind any number of causes. It's whether or not the athlete themselves makes it work. And Francis, I don't know if he would have become nearly as big of a deal as he has now without taking that Tyson Fury fight.
They thought something, man. They had him up to what, 8 million? You said, Bruce. They're not doing that with everybody.
It was 8 million plus pay-per-view points. No.
Yeah, they're not doing that with anybody.
No.
They saw something.
No, it was a very nice offer from the UFC at the time. Very
Yeah,
lucrative.
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
So kudos to him to have the balls to turn it down, you know?
No question about it. That's what they miscalculated, because normally 98% of the people sell out for the money. They could buy people. This guy, they couldn't buy it. I think it drove him nuts. And now it's going to drive him even crazier, because the guy's coming true. You know, he believed in himself. It's almost like when, you know, Stallone wrote Rocky and they wanted to give him 100,000, but they didn't want him playing the part. He held out for that, and look what happened.
250.
Yeah, 250, whatever, you know, whatever it was. But you know what I mean? Stallone believed in himself, and look what happened. And Francis did the same thing.
Yep. That's an amazing story. It's a very motivating story. That Stallone story. I've talked about it on the show before. You know, just
100%. There's more of those out there.
Of course,
you know. So when you have talent, you believe in yourself. Man, Francis, I really believe it's unusual, but Francis, I do believe, was a step ahead of them in that negotiation. I think, you know, you think about how many dinners they took him out to. They thought something was going to happen. Francis is good, man.
Good for him. Good for him.
It was refreshing.
Totally refreshing, and I love seeing it too. Couldn't happen to a nicer man. Are you a football fan, Ray?
No.
Okay,
used to be, but not anymore.
That killed that subject. We'll leave that one alone.
Oh yeah, that's all right. No, that's all right.
Hey Ray, before you go, have you read about all these UFO sightings? You know, the alien sightings in Miami and this, that, and the other.
No, but
the 10-foot tall aliens running around that mall.
Yeah,
my
TJ.
My point is just,
that?
Yeah, I don't know what the big deal is. Maybe they're nice people. Let's meet somebody.
If we're here, they're there. I've said this forever, so I truly believe that there's.
Yeah.
Here's my thing about aliens, guys. If they're smart enough to come from light years away, they're smart enough to not waste their time with us, because we're dicks. We're terrible.
No, we could bring anybody down, TJ. They might not have figured that out yet. They got to be here for a while.
Maybe.
But, you know, you see these videos of like the tall, lanky creatures, you know, and of course everything's being photoshopped and AI'd like crazy these days. I don't know what to believe anymore half the time.
Yeah. Hey, if they're here, does it affect our lives doing a podcast?
No.
Then that's all we care about. Who cares?
There was a viral video of a tall alien on a hill in Brazil, right? It turned out to be an international basketball star that was taking a walk.
Yeah, these guys, you know, people look, they love the conspiracy theories. They love the Bigfoot theory. They love it. It's like going to a movie. You want to, you know, be entertained and escape whatever problems you have, you know, shit like that. So it's all good.
I'll tell you what I like. I like science. You know, I love a lot of things about science, but you know, they just discovered an unknown relative, and they discovered another dinosaur, a T-Rex, an older and equally sizable relative of a Tyrannosaurus Rex has been discovered in New Mexico. That blows me away, how archaeologists can discover something like that and make that determination based on a partial jawbone that they found. Like from 7 million years ago.
Well, that's got more science, Bruce, than the alien stuff. You know what I mean? Like even the spaceships. Why can't you show us a picture of it? Just do anything. Why do we have to talk about it? What's the breach of security on that? Like who?
I don't know.
Who cares?
I don't know. I mean, not to cause public panic, something like this is just historical. Pardon me. 72 to 73 million years ago, this creature walked the earth and was walking the earth for up to 7 million years before the T-Rex even came on the earth.
How
the hell did they figure this out?
See, that's mind blowing to me. Yeah, it really is. That's mind blowing.
All I know is when I was a kid, dinosaurs look like dinosaurs, and now apparently they have feathers. So I don't.
Well, here's something else. Speaking of a kid, either one of you guys eat Quaker Oats, Captain Crunch cereal, granola bars, or anything like that?
I mean, growing up, but not in 40 years. But yeah.
Well, pull them back, man. Salmonella risk. They're all being pulled back.
I mean, don't even watch food safety videos. Like apparently every pre-wrapped frozen chicken has got salmonella all over it. You can't do anything these days without being afraid of dying.
But anyway, guys, I got to run out of here though.
You got to go. Listen, real quick. In an auction collectible, the first piece of mail sent using a stamp, the first piece of mail ever sent using a stamp. I don't know how they found this thing, but it's going to fetch up to $2.5 million in auction. It's an envelope.
Wow.
Yeah, the first known piece of mail to use a prepaid stamp. Again, how they find that? Jesus. 1840. 1840.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ray seems like the guy that would ask his little nephew, "Hey, did you get that letter I sent you?" And the kid goes, "No." And he stamps on his foot. "Sorry, I forgot to slip it."
Ray, you would look good in one of Elton John's jumpsuits. His goodbye yellow gold jumpsuit. They're auctioning
I'm
that
a
off.
rocket man.
Yeah, you
I'm
can
a
find
rocket
it.
man, Bruce.
It's only going to cost you 30 to 50 G's, but I think you'd look great walking around the octagon in that. I think you ought to check it out.
Yeah. All right. On that, goodbye, Norma Jean.
All right.
I'm
Goodbye,
out of
Norman.
here.
Ray, I'll see you
All
around
right,
the
guys.
campus. What show am I seeing you at?
I think that I'm going to see you in Anaheim.
I'll see you in Anaheim, buddy.
And then we're going to plan for Atlantic City if you have any time.
I'll make time in Atlantic City because
All right, cool.
we'll work it out.
All right,
See you,
awesome.
Ray.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, bye, Ray. Thank you.
Take it easy, guys. No, anytime, man. I'll talk to you. Bye.
Okay,
Ray
Ray
Longo.
Longo. Always a good start the year with old Ray. So anyway, football. Now, TJ, I know you're not you don't follow football
I
that
like
closely.
football. I
know
have a
you do.
love-hate relationship with the Minnesota Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings. Well, they're not even in the playoffs. We're not going to worry about them. But Aaron Rodgers.
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Who?
Yeah. Come on.
I know Aaron Rodgers, right?
Green Bay quarterback.
Well,
one of your
Jets quarterback now. Well, kind of for a game.
Jets quarterback, kind of, but he's on the Pat McAfee show. When he came out accusing or some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, the Jimmy Kimmel bit.
The Jimmy Kimmel bit, and all that, and they took him right off the Pat McAfee show. He lost his bit. He's not on Pat McAfee anymore.
He was a host? I thought he was just a guest.
He had a bit, if I understood it correctly. Yeah, he was done for the seasons like a guest, like a segment guest.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah, so they took him off. Our friend of the show, Michael Irvin, I'm sorry to say his daughter's been diagnosed with brain cancer. Michael Irvin, the Hall of Fame classic Dallas Cowboy receiver.
Terrible news.
Terrible news. But also coinciding with that, he's up for an under police investigation again.
For what?
Just wrongdoing. A criminal investigation.
I don't mean to laugh, but just wrongdoing. He did something wrong.
He had something that came up a while back where he misappropriately handled himself with a woman in public, speaking to her. I can't go into the exact details. Now there's another story, but they're not releasing all this. Then a few days later, his daughter is diagnosed with brain cancer. So I just sent him a text, because Michael's always been a gentleman, always been nice.
Yeah.
And just sending, prayers and best wishes to his daughter. That's tough.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's tough. Bill Belichick is out.
Yeah, but he's going to land somewhere, right?
I don't know. You think he's going to still coach?
Yeah, I heard he's going to go to Atlanta.
Well, he's a great coach, but anyway, that dynasty is definitely changing. Jared Mayo's taking over as head coach there.
Yeah.
Let's go in before we end the show. I want to go into the playoffs. We got the Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. Cleveland Browns are favored by 2.5 points. My pick is Cleveland to win the game. Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now they're expecting 3-degree weather.
Yeah.
And they were saying they're going to maybe cancel the game, but they're not going to cancel the game.
You can't cancel the game.
No.
Why would you cancel the game?
You'd have to move it. It was the whole time.
No, football's a game of the elements. And if you take that game away from Kansas City, then what is the point of home field advantage?
Hey, let me tell you something. I used to call them the snow bowls. When I was a kid in Philadelphia, we would play in, foot of snow, 2 feet of snow, tackle football. It was so much fun. Let them play. Chiefs are favored, minus 4.5 points. It's cold weather. Dolphins, warm, humid weather. Just on weather alone, play alone, home field advantage. Chiefs, I think, is a very solid bet in that game.
Yeah, probably.
Buffalo Bills, minus 9 points, visiting Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers always have a great defense. Buffalo Bills have definitely started to shine. Bills win that game. They cover the spread. Buffalo Bills. Cowboys, Green Bay Packers. Packers were plus 7.5 points. Cowboys have been playing excellent football. Have a problem with the Cowboys, who I happen to used to love living in Dallas, but obviously the Philadelphia Eagles are my favorite.
You can't love the Cowboys and be an Eagles fan?
Can't, because they're in the same division. So this is an emotional bet on my part. I am going to, although I guess it would mean the Cowboys play the Eagles, which would be very, very cool if that happened. But I say buy the Packers up to 7.5 points, take the Packers to cover the spread. I think the Cowboys will probably win the game, though.
All right.
Rams, Detroit Lions minus 3. Go with the Detroit Lions, buy it down to 2.5.
Stafford returning to Detroit.
Pardon me?
Stafford's returning to Detroit.
Yeah. And I like Detroit. I like the coach. I like the team. I liked them when they were on the Hard Knocks show. It really showed an insight. It was old school football, which I really liked a lot. Philadelphia Eagles -3 at Tampa Bay. Buy it down to 2.5. Go with the Eagles. The Eagles have not looked good these last few weeks. It's playoff time. Bring it together. Emotional bet on my part, but also realistic analyzation. Eagles -2.5 points. There's my pick.
There you
Slip
go.
it all into a parlay. Put money on each team. Have a good time watching the playoffs.
Big ass parlay.
Big ass parlay. So I've been working with the Super Bowl and some stuff going on Super Bowl week. I'll have an announcement to make in a couple weeks.
All right.
Well, there's a few big things that happen at the Super Bowl. You know, one of the big things at Super Bowl is the opening night when all the teams gather, which will in this case will be at Allegiant Stadium, introducing both teams and everything. And Allegiant Stadium probably have like 40,000 people in the stadium for that.
Oh yeah.
That's on the Monday before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff going on. I got to tell you, February's busy. It's busy.
It's good, Buff. It's good.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, TJ, I think it's time to go.
Yes, sir.
What's up? What's up with you?
Not much. You know, I'm kind of where you and Ray are, kind of just easing in. It's the calm before the proverbial storm. Next week we'll be live out in Toronto for extra rounds. Big UFC event obviously going down there. So I'm not exactly sure where we're going to be, but follow me on Twitter at TJ DeSantis, also on Instagram, same name at TJ DeSantis, and get you all the information on where me and my crew are going to be at if you want to come say hi.
Very cool. Very cool. I will be doing a appearance for Puncher's Chance Bourbon at Tequila Ranch in Paramount, California, coming up on the 25th of this month. I'll talk more about it next week on that one. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to Toronto. I will see you from the Octagon a week from Saturday. Of course, we're going to talk more about that show next week. All right, everybody, we'll be back next week with a very exciting guest. I want to thank our sponsors, medicaleverything.com. Check it out for medical advice, health advice on the internet. Puncher's Chance, of course. Puncher's Chance Bourbon, sponsor of the show. By the way, the Unified Belt, my new Irish whiskey bourbon combination, has won platinum awards out of the gate and is almost completely sold out.
Dang.
Well, when we come out with these, we make like 2,000 cases at a time versus my free-flowing Puncher's Chance and my undisputed single barrel version. But the acceptance and everything, it's great. It's really great. And we're working our way into Canada and the UK right now. So
awesome.
Coming up strong. It's Time Cologne. Smell like a champion. Still the top-selling cologne on Amazon. One of the top-selling colognes on Amazon. The Christmas rush for this was crazy. It's awesome. You got one, right, TJ?
Nope.
You didn't get one yet?
Mm-mm.
I thought you ordered it.
Mm-mm.
Trying to get $49 out of you on Amazon. Before it's $80 in the stores.
I just want that It's Time energy.
It's coming. March.
All right.
It's definite.
Sounds good.
It's definite.
Give me a case of that.
Oh, you'll get plenty of taste of that. Don't worry. All good. Did you see the cool video that Mark Wahlberg made for me with Puncher's Chance?
I did. Yeah. That was awesome.
That was awesome. That was like $1 million commercial. You know, he said he'd do it. He's a man of his word.
He put over his own tequila during it, but I still.
Yeah, that's okay. His tequila's with the top, one of the top selling tequilas out there.
Yeah.
The man's a worker. It's at the gym 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning doing that. His clothing line, Municipal, his tequila brand, everything.
He's doing it all.
He's doing it all. No, I admire him.
Heck of an actor too.
Definitely very enjoyable. All right, everybody. It is the new year. I hope it started off positive and strong for you. Set your goals, keep them rolling, become a better person than you were last year and this year. Every day, wake up to be that better person. Be a role model to your sphere of influence. And when you set your goals, please write them down. So when you step on that yellow brick road to your future, prosperity, health, and success, you just be the best you can be. Because if you're the best you can be, then you're winning. And that's what we're all about on It's Time Radio. Happy 2024. I'm going to say that plenty of times as the week moves on. And we'll be back next week. Everybody have a great week. Cheers. Much love. Buffer out.